Well, here we are. We've made it to episode 300. I said we've made it to episode 300, where we'll be talking about Michael Cimino's Heaven's Gate. I'm sorry, I figured maybe someone would try to call. Maybe someone could cut in dressed as Sam Waterston's character and call me a dirty immigrant. Or Ed could come in a toga and complain that he's several years late for a Caligula cameo. Or maybe Neil could walk in and we can have a 10-minute conversation about the movie's rape scene. Hey Neil? Well, what the fuck? Have you got anything? Sorry, bro. Been auditioning new bros all afternoon. I got it narrowed down to a fuck, marry, kill question on Entourage, Axe body spray, and Journey's Don't Stop Believin'. I don't know what that means. Well, fuck it. I guess I just gotta talk about the movie. Fucking lame. Michael Cimino's Heaven's Gate, one of the most notorious cinematic bombs in movie history. A movie that went so over budget and nosedived so hard with critics and audiences that not only did it cause a devastating blow to United Artists Pictures, but helped usher in the end of the new Hollywood era, taking creative control away from the film's directors and put back into the hands of producers. With a reputation like that, you'd figure I'd be the latest in many shows to do an episode on this movie. But not exactly, since its reputation with critics isn't so much that it's what the fuck Hollywood, but more so what the Hollywood. Huh? Fuck, I think it's like 3 days later, or in other words, 20.5 Heaven's Gates. Heaven's Gate was a dream project from writer-director Michael Cimino, who shopped the script around in the early 70s under the title of Johnson County War, a story of the dispute between land barons and European immigrants in Wyoming. Exciting. It wasn't until Cimino scored 2 hits with Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, and more notably The Deer Hunter, which won Oscars for Best Picture and Best Director, that Cimino was given a $12 million budget and carte blanche to do whatever he wanted on his next project. And that project was the Johnson County War, renamed Heaven's Gate, and the budget skyrocketed due to Cimino's obsessive attention to detail, catastrophic running times, unusable footage, and endless retakes that would cause the crew to nickname Cimino the Ayatollah. Hell, some of the actors had so much downtime that John Hurt filmed The Elephant Man during filming Heaven's Gate. What? But he made The Deer Hunter! I can't imagine someone who made the wedding scene in that movie would ever direct something that's overlong. So let's take a look at this film. Partisan Productions? I don't need this movie slamming its political agenda about proper cattle gutting down my throat. And I'm not interested in LTD either. I don't do hallucinogens. Okay, I don't need to sit through all of this. Let's skip ahead a few minutes. God damn! Was the movie's budget $1 million a credit? Congratulations, Heaven's Gate. You are the reason why movies rarely do opening credit sequences anymore. Everything is your fault! Now let's have our first look at this incredibly bleak and post-apocalyptic scenery. They've exchanged David Lean for Joe D'Amato. What is this, The Day After? Oh wait, it's a parade. Sorry, I get those confused. We open at Harvard College, the one in Cambridge, Massachusetts, not to be confused with the one in Auburn, Illinois. Oh god, I'm late! So late! This was the worst morning to have the power shits! He better hurry, he's missing the running of the Ebenezer Scrooges. This was a time when men were men and women were locked in study hall. Oh no, we're late too, bros! As you can see, this is a graduation ceremony for our lead character, Jim Averill, played by Chris Christopherson. God damn it, we should have built more than one door for this. I'm feeling a little claustrophobic over here. I'm happy that Jim has finally graduated college. After all, he and his buddy Billy, played by John Hurt, are so not in their 20s. Chris Christopherson with beard, 43 years old. Chris Christopherson without beard, 42. These graduates are a bunch of jokesters. They're pretending to put hats on the people in front of them when they clearly should have thrown them in the air earlier. Ugh, even the audience is already falling asleep. And who let them out of study hall? This speech had better hold my attention.
To all habits of thought and meditation, it doubly behooves us.
Well, if you don't get it, then I am not gonna tell you. I am, after all, a Harvard man, in that I've seen the movie Harvard Man. We're now given a speech from Billy, who was the class orator, and it was a very interesting casting choice to hire John Hurt to play Martin Short. Maybe this speech is better.
There is a story told by an ancient author of a young man who, being noticed by his friend to look dejected...
I don't know anything about that. This is an anniversary episode. Why isn't someone getting fisted?
I have existed from the morning of the world, and I shall exist until the last star falls from the night.
There, that's better. Especially since John Hurt once played Caligula. No, don't throw out the pages of the script. It's gonna cost another $10 million just to pick them up again. Oh, and forgive them when they said Harvard. What they meant was that this is clearly Oxford! During a time when it was not only okay to walk on the grass, but dance on it too. Just kidding. This is just like Oxford today as well. This scene is taking place in 2013. I always heard you get electric shocks if you walk on the grass, which is maybe why Billy looks like he's got 1,000 volts running through him when he dances. You gotta give him credit for having their graduation the same time as the debutante's ball. Oh good, is Jim finally gonna say something?
God, you're beautiful.
So are you.
Yes, out of everyone here, you are easily the one who can buy liquor. This scene sums up a lot of criticisms about the movie. This is all very well shot, well choreographed, beautiful music, beautiful scenery. Not sure why it's happening and why it's taking so long. But again, I am getting a CinemaScope boner just by looking at it. We're free! No more hazing! No more golden chalices up the ass! We're still here! Help! Help! Someone please send help! And now the band goes back into the garage to wait for the next graduation. Say, it's that time-honored tradition of playing Ring Around the Rosie and getting into one giant man pile. It was a tradition that continued into the last act of the Italian Stallion. They're all fighting for John Hurt's coveted role in Crystal Skull. Gentlemen, please, you're all gonna lose. You'll know you've graduated Harvard when you're drunk and someone's beat the shit out of you. The fuck kind of graduation is this? Oh, was it all just a dream? Oh, never mind. It's Wyoming, 20 years later. I sure hope someone has let the girls out of the study hall by now. Riding coach was so terrible back then that people had to sleep on top of the train. That's really gonna hurt when Jason Statham has to drive a car on top of it. Whoops, that's on fire. Another 10 million. I see they're slaughtering the movie before the critics do. I gotta admit though, I can't be mad when I'm being stared at by such gorgeous landscape. Jesus! That never happened in The Quiet Man. John Wayne would have called that un-American. Well shit, he's gotten blood all over the blood. I don't know who those people were, but I do know that one of them is now dead, and the other one is very sad about it. I I hear Cimino lost a whole day's work due to yelling at a cloud for not sitting perfectly in the sky. Wow, the parade sure has fallen on hard times. Maybe they could apply at Oxford, which is located in Massachusetts. These are all European immigrants, and I imagine that those who are walking are silently cursing those who are riding. We're not part of this group, we just have a bad habit of being followers. The last people we tried following got lost in the Sierra Nevadas. We have now arrived at CASPER, Wyoming. I bet it's a ghost town. With all the money that is obviously on screen here, there is no excuse for Christopherson to be out of booze or to have shoes that don't fit. What's he doing here anyway?
What are you doing out here then in this part of the world?
Brought an immigrant woman in for hanging. Federal penitentiary, St. Louis.
Okay, so I understood none of that, but thanks to this minute-long shot, I now know what walking is. I'm not sure I like the adventures of Indiana Jones's hippie uncle. Jim Averill has currently left his life of luxury behind and is now a marshal of Johnson County and just happens to be passing through Casper. Just think, at this point during the Deer Hunter, the wedding scene was almost halfway over. I'm worried about you, Richard Masser. Last time I saw you in a 3-hour movie, you slit your wrists halfway through.
I'm a human being, ain't I? I'm not ashamed of it. I tell you, Jim, I got so I can't stand this job already.
I'm thinking about becoming president of the Screen Actors Guild. No one gives Cimino enough credit for putting in even more drop-dead gorgeous exterior shots to distract us that not much has happened yet. As if you already couldn't see the money on screen, Cimino would go on to tear down whole buildings if they were too close together. I'm thinking some excitement might happen in this room. This is where they're holding the Django auditions. You can't shoot anyone with that! Ooh, looks like something exciting's going on outside. Better check on that after getting my complimentary gun and booze.
Can't believe you fixed your mouth to say that, boy.
Well, at least the booze is okay. There's still 3 hours of this movie left. Bring out your sleepy! Bring out your sleepy! I'm thinking they now need another $5 million to give this statue a head top. Here we see a board meeting from the association run by Frank Canton, played by Sam Waterston.
These immigrants only pretend to be farmers. But we know many of them personally to be thieves and anarchists openly preying on our ranges.
Dude, Jack McCoy's ancestor was a dick. But to be fair, so's the audience.
They're an ignorant, degraded gang of paupers. Their only stock in trade consists of having large numbers of ragged kids.
Well, that's easy. Just give them condoms. Don't kill them. That would be immoral, though. So instead, they put 125 immigrants' names on a death list, and the only one who has a problem with it is Billy, seen here looking a whole 5 years older since his graduation. And since when have we ever had a problem with immigrants, especially in the 1800s? The vote for the death list appears to be a landslide.
Stratton.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Hall.
Okay, I don't actually need to see the vote happen. I take it they're going to approve the death list, otherwise this would be a very short movie, which I know for damn sure it isn't.
Steele.
Yes. Jim pops up at the club, and from what I know about pool, this scene is going to end with one of their fingers being chopped off.
Does anybody else know that you're here?
Just you.
That and the guy I spent 20 minutes with, the people in the gun shop, and 1,000 extras. Doesn't matter, Billy's 3 wins to the shit at this point anyway.
One half of my drunkenness can be accounted for by the fact that this building is so poorly ventilated.
So that's why Cimino tore the building down and then rebuilt it. I would say that John Hurt shouldn't have said that out loud, but Cimino wrote the damn line. Billy tells Jim of the list of immigrants to be killed, but more importantly, dude, you're messing with his pool game. That'll be 3 fingers. That was a good day of death listing, gentlemen. oh my god, it's Chris Christopherson.
But unless you got a signed legal warrant for every name on that death list, stay out of my county.
Did we offend him? Do you think he'll still sign my Jesus Was a Capricorn album? I have a feeling awkwardness is afoot. I'm now 50 minutes into this movie, and one of the highlights is a slap fight. I don't know why I'm angry. That was kind of awesome. In the next scene... Anyway, not even a bloodied up corpse can take away from the beauty of these shots. I believe we call this the Sergio Leone angle. The prettiness of the sky looking down on the ugliness of mankind. Well, I've just seen a dead body today. What we've learned so far is that the earliest inventions of the rickshaw weren't very practical. Hey, now that's a line that was sorely missing from theaters showing Heaven's Gate. Though I'm not sure that that's the safest place to stand. Canton has rounded up a group of degenerates to hire in order to carry out his death list. And who would say no to this offer?
We are employing on the basis of $5 a day plus expenses, and $50 for every thief and anarchist shot or hung.
Yet another instance of things going severely over budget. Isn't anyone gonna ask any questions?
Who's paying, mister? You don't worry about that. Who's paying? I'm paying.
Well, you sure stood your ground on that one. Since you all blocked the train from getting through, I guess I'll walk home. The lead enforcer to carry out this list is Nate Champion, played by Christopher Walken, another example of the movie using real names for fictitious characters. The real Jim Averill was a rancher who lived 100 miles from Johnson County and was murdered years before the Johnson County War began, and Nate Champion was also a small-time rancher and not a deadly enforcer. But one thing is for sure about Walken's character.
Ain't a kid. A married man.
Get out of here before I blow your brains out, married man.
He is easily the best character in this movie, which is a surprise to no one. We're now in Sweetwater, Johnson County, as if we couldn't tell from the sign that already says Sweetwater. Okay, when I ordered my food rare, I didn't mean this rare. This scene is just here for the tie-in big cock toy line for the movie. Here we have the first of the movie's many problems with animal cruelty, making the American Humane Association among the first to give the movie terrible reviews. And in terms of my show, it's just making me think that Amazon cannibals are about to show up. Jeff Bridges plays entrepreneur... John Bridges? Really? Okay. Here he is having a drink with Kurt Christopherson, who talks more about the problem.
There's 125 names on a death list. That's almost everybody in the county.
That might be an under-exaggeration. Every other shot in this movie has at least 1,000 people. The drink binge is interrupted by another cockfight, this time involving humans.
He come to me and my wife, and he using very bad word before wife, and he never stop listen what I have to say.
How is this movie so damn hard to edit down? Hey, this is a private residence, man. Now for a tour of Cinematography County, Wyoming. Here Averill meets up with his love interest, Ella Watson, a Wyoming bordello owner, and you can tell by her accent.
You eat the pie first. It took me a whole day to make it for you, so you eat all of it.
The casting of the very French Isabelle Huppert was one of the many points of debate between Cimino and the studio, but Cimino won out in the end because, you know, Deer Hunter, Oscars. In the end, though, as long as they both have fantastic chemistry, I'm sure the casting is fine.
It's great.
Oh boy, that was intense. They should slow down a little bit. That's the opposite of slowing down. This better be some passionate lovemaking. All the sexiness of practice kissing behind a barn. Hell, they don't even have sex. They go right outside so Jim can give her a present. A horse. You know your penis is gonna look quite small in comparison, right? Plus, you're gonna wake up the prostitutes.
What the fuck is going on?
I'll tell you exactly what's going on. This is my 300th episode, and so far there's been no skits, no cameos, and all I've done is just talk about a movie. Yuck. This needs to be bigger, better, higher budgeted, more surprise appearances. Way ahead of you, bro. Check out the newest, bro.
So, I fuck Axe body spray so I could marry the cast of Entourage and fucking kill it at the reception with Don't Stop Believin'.
New chick bro is hot, bro. Oh, well, that's just great. I'm gonna take some time out of this episode to have a good long talk with my manager. We'll continue on with our 3-part look at Heaven's Gate next time. Though probably not on the next episode. I think I'm gonna be talking about a dinosaur movie or something.